Hey guys, R4GE VipeRzZ here, and today I'm going to show you how you can easily select a person from within an image in Adobe Photoshop CC. So if I open Photoshop up, I'm going to be selecting this woman out of this image here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to select the layer that contains the image that has the person on that you want to select. So for me, I only have a single layer, so I just need to have this layer selected. So once you have the correct layer selected, you then want to come up to the Select tab, and then you want to click on Select and Mask. Now in the Select and Mask window, the first thing you want to do is you want to adjust the transparency to your liking. So the transparency value is how transparent all of the non-selected area will be to you. So this is all of the area that is not going to be included in your selection. So all of the area that is not the person that you want to be selected. So I like to have my transparency around 50 to 60%. And then once you've set your transparency, there are then multiple ways that we can select the person. So the first way is we can use the object selection tool. So you're best using this tool if there are only certain people within the image that you want to select and certain people that you don't want to be selected. So to make this selection, all you need to do is click with the tool and then roughly draw around the person. And now when we let go, Photoshop will now try and select the woman within the area. So there we go, it's selected her pretty well. Now I'll just undo that, and alternatively, if you just want to select everybody in the image, all you have to do is select the quick selection tool and then just click select subject up here. Photoshop will then try to select everybody in the image like so, and there we go, we have our rough selection. So now we have our rough selection, we can now press Ctrl and space to be able to zoom in, and then we can use these other tools to adjust the selection. So the first tool we're going to use is the brush tool. So with the brush tool, you can either brush over areas that you want to be selected, or you can brush over areas that you want to be removed from the selection. So if you have the plus icon selected, when you draw with the brush tool, those areas will become part of the new selection. And if you have the negative selected, then if you draw over an area that is currently selected in the selection, then they will become no longer selected. So I've just drawn over where that band was sticking out there, just so it won't be part of the selection. Now, as you can see, just under the arm here, it still has a bit of the background. So I'm going to use the brush tool with the minus symbol selected, just to remove some of this unnecessary selection. So there we go. Now, as you can see, another issue with this image is the selection around the hair. So to try and fix that, we're going to use the Refine Edge Brush tool. So with the Refine Edge Brush tool, if we just roughly draw over all of the area that is still selected that shouldn't be, then Photoshop will try and select the hair out of the background. So there we go. Now it doesn't do a perfect job, so if you want you can go back with the brush tool and just improve the selection. Now once you're happy with your selection, you can then just zoom in on the edges a little, and then on the right hand side you can come over to the global refinements and you can adjust the following values just to make the selection look a little better once it is processed. So I would suggest adding a little smoothing just to make the edges of the selection a bit less abrupt, and you can also add a little bit of feather just to make the edges of the selection a little blurrier. Now you probably don't want to have too much feather on, so I will just add a little. And now if you want, you can play about with the contrast. I usually don't. And you can also adjust with shifting the edge. So if you reduce the percentage, then that will shrink the selection slightly. And if you increase it, then that will expand the selection slightly. However, I'm happy with my selection, so I'm going to leave it on at 0%. And then finally, you want to come to the output to selection. So in this drop down here, you can select what the output from this window is going to be like. So I would suggest either selecting layer mask or new layer with layer mask. So if you select layer mask, that will just apply a mask to the layer that was selected. And if you select new layer with layer mask, it will duplicate the layer and then apply a layer mask to that layer. So I'm going to select new layer with layer mask and then I'm going to click OK. So now as you can see on this layer, we now just have the woman selected. So if I make the previous image visible, and I make it invisible like that, as you can see it has done pretty well at selecting the woman out of the image. So guys, hopefully that was helpful for you. If you liked the video, don't forget the like button. If you dislike it, hit the dislike button. Subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you another time. Bye.